Is your compost poisoning your garden? Has the City Council changed its mind about retail pot sales downtown? And can we change the weather if we don't like it? Answers to these questions and more in this week's edition of Inside Durango News. I'm Ashley Dixon.
You're watching Inside Durango News, your source for information about Southwest Colorado. Brought to you by Oxford Asset Management, inspiring confidence, growing dreams. Oxford Asset Management.
As Americans become more aware of the pesticides and herbicides that can be found in the produce on grocery store shelves, backyard gardening and food production have experienced a bit of a resurgence in the last 10 years. Growing your own food allows you to control the type and amount of herbicides and pesticides that you use, but some La Plata County growers are finding out the hard way about a chemical poisoning their compost. According to Darren Parmenter, horticulturalist with the Colorado State University Cooperative Extension Office in Durango, a number of La Plata County growers are watching their crops die after using manure tainted with aminopriolid. Aminopriolid is the active chemical found in milestone, a widely used herbicide used to control invasive weeds in horse and cattle pastures. Milestone eliminates hard-to-control weeds like the Canada thistle, knapweed, and ragweed. But the chemical doesn't exactly discriminate when it comes to making its way into vegetable gardens. It can kill off beans, lettuce, peppers, legumes, peas, and more. Tomatoes are highly sensitive. Symptoms of aminopriolid poisoning include curled, cupped leaves and wilted new growth, which are often misdiagnosed as a virus or disease problem. According to Parmenter, the chemical is finding its way into local gardens through manure and compost. When horses and cattle graze on pastures that have been treated with herbicides like milestone, the active ingredients pass through their digestive system and then come out the other end just as potent. The herbicide does eventually break down, but it can take up to 18 months. Light, heat, and moisture all help to break down the active chemical, but most farmers don't have the time or storage space to fully ensure the manure is chemical-free before they offer it to the common gardener. Parmenter said he gets hundreds of inquiries throughout the year from concerned growers about poison manure and compost. And now, the La Plata County Commissioners have appointed a task force to see what steps can be taken to protect local growers from losing their crops. Some options may include an educational campaign or an outright ban on certain herbicides. To put the issue in perspective, the entire United Kingdom banned the sale of milestone after thousands of farmers lost their crops in the summer of 2008. Parmenter said it does take some work to find out if certain compost is tainted, and testing the soil through a lab can cost upwards of $250. Gardeners can also conduct a bioassay and test the soil themselves by growing seeds in bagged soil and soil treated with local compost to see the results side by side. Residents who have experienced loss of crops after using local manure are encouraged to do their research when it comes to sourcing local fertilizer. For more information, visit the CSU Extension page on the La Plata County website. By the way, the cattle you saw in our video clips are James Ranch beef with 100% chemical-free manure. The city of Durango has taken another stab at a retail pot ordinance, only this time around it would allow stores to locate in the central business district. The City Council met in a study session on May 13th to review amendments that were crafted in response to residents' comments at a public hearing earlier this month. Residents called the initial regulations onerous and unduly restrictive for what is now a legal activity. The draft ordinance had called for a 1,000-foot buffer from schools, addiction recovery facilities, child care facilities, and public parks. The regulations effectively banned retail marijuana sales in the central business district. The new ordinance would reduce the buffer to 250 feet for parks and child care facilities, but leaves the 1,000-foot buffer for schools and addiction recovery facilities. With the tighter buffer zones, retail pot stores would be allowed along 2nd Avenue from 4th to 9th Street. On Main Avenue, stores would be restricted to the block between 5th Street and College Drive and the block between 9th and 10th Streets. More changes are expected before the formal first reading of the ordinance on May 20th. The second reading and a vote are expected in June. For more information, visit the city's website at durangogov.com. More than 400 dogs and their owners will be on their best behavior to win the coveted Best of Show award at the Durango Kennel Club's annual dog show scheduled for May 16th through the 18th in Cortez. Just like the famous Westminster Dog Show in New York, the Durango Show is attracting top dogs and their owners and handlers from throughout the United States. Each day's activities include a separate show with elimination rounds for Best of Breed, then Best of Group, then Best of Show. Durango resident Ginger Jenks, spokeswoman for the Durango Kennel Club, said she will be there with Lincoln, her 4-year-old Samoyed dog Link, as she calls him, the grandson of her first champion, Rory. According to Jenks, Best of Show is the dog that comes closest to representing the perfect characteristics of that breed. Jenks said she's especially excited about Link's chances for an award because she carefully bred 2 generations of Samoyeds to produce him. She said dog shows are fun to watch because the handlers encourage their dogs to strut their stuff for the judges.
So what the judges will have every dog do is some version of a down and back. And when they go down, they're looking at the dog's rear movement. When they come back, they're looking at the dog's front movement. And then the handler will put the dog in a stack like this, so the judge can see the profile and the picture the dog creates. And then they do a go around to watch the side gate. And they'll be comparing that to the breed standard and to all the other dogs in the ring. Okay, Link, you ready? Come here, buddy. And the other thing is the judge will come up and examine them on the exam. And they'll come over and they'll pull up the lip to look at the teeth, look at the eyes, make sure in the Samoyed the ears hit the tips of the eyes, go over the structure, the shoulder layback, the tails. Make sure the boys have too. Okay, you ready, buddy? Link, with me, with me. Come on. Good boy, turn, turn. Let's go. Link, you watch. Good boy. And around, ready? Here we go. Come on, Link. And sometimes the judge will have you show them the dog, which means to free bait them in the middle of the ring. Good boy. And we carry bait to get the dog animated and sometimes show them off doing silly little things like that. Good boy. Good boy.
To make it to the Best of Show, a dog has to be selected best of its breed, then best of its group: sporting, hound, working, terrier, toy, non-sporting, and at the end of the day, it all comes down to the final 7, the best dog in each group.
Comes down to Best in Show, the judge really can't make any mistakes. The dogs have already defeated not only every dog in their breed, but every dog in their group, like the sporting group or the working group. And so when it comes down to Best in Show, it'll be things like this: animation. The dog who asks for it, who says, "Give me that red, white, and blue ribbon." Do you want it? Yeah, okay. Good boy.
For more information, visit the Durango Kennel Club's website at durangokennelclub.org. Can you really change the weather if you don't like it? Up next.
First National Bank of Durango, committed to our community since 1882, where our friendly bankers help you achieve your financial goals.
We put you first!
Stop by one of our 5 locations or visit us online at fnbdurango.com.
You're watching Inside Durango News. I'm Ashley Dixon. If you've lived in Colorado for more than 6 months, then you're probably familiar with our famous saying: if you don't like the weather, then wait 10 minutes for it to change. While no one can do anything about the weather, water experts and conservationists try to give winter storms a boost with cloud seeding to produce more snow in the mountains, and that means more runoff water for downstream users in spring. Cloud seeding was the topic of the 2nd annual Weather Modification Workshop, sponsored by the Southwest Water Conservation District, held in Durango on May 15th. Water and weather modification experts from Durango, Wyoming, Texas, Colorado, and the National Center for Atmospheric Research covered the most recent scientific findings on cloud seeding and whether it's worth the money that conservation districts, cities, counties, states, and ski areas spend to produce more snow. Cloud seeding is a process that injects particulates like silver iodide into winter storm clouds. Like dust in the air, the silver iodide pieces encourage the formation of larger snow crystals and increase the volume of snow that falls. Cloud temperatures, wind direction, and other variables determine how much more volume of water cloud seeding produces. In its infancy during the mid-20th century, cloud seeding faced a lot of skepticism. It was difficult to measure whether cloud seeding actually produced more snow than a storm system would have produced on its own. But research methods have improved significantly since then, and independent researchers have concluded that cloud seeding works. Larry Germstead, owner of Western Weather Consultants, has been seeding clouds in the San Juans since 1976. He said the effectiveness of cloud seeding in Colorado has been verified by stream flow measurements in a study conducted over 35 years in the Vail area. Other studies in Australia and California also support the Vail research. So how much more water do local efforts produce? Germstead said it depends on the type of winter and the type of storms produced, but when there's a drought, any extra water is valuable. During the winter of 2013 and 14, Germstead said cloud seeding efforts on Coalbank, Molis, and Lizardhead passes, along with cloud seeding in the La Platas and around Lone Cone, produced 8 to 12% more water. If cloud seeding efforts produce 2 inches of extra water, it results in an additional 300,000 acre-feet of runoff. An acre-foot of water can supply a family of 4 for a year. Cloud seeding is not an inexpensive proposition. Germstead said public entities, including the City of Durango, water conservation districts, the state of Colorado, and some lower Colorado basin states spend about $300,000 a year on local cloud seeding efforts. That total does not include funding from the Durango Mountain Resort or the Telluride ski area. And continued public funding requires additional research and public education. According to Bruce Whitehead, director of the Southwest Water Conservation District, skeptics continue to challenge the program, although the Southwest Water Conservation District has continued to support cloud seeding for the past 35 years. It matches investments by other conservation and irrigation districts for up to $90,000 a year. The Conservation District is supported through property taxes. He said the benefits of cloud seeding are far greater than the investment, and this month's workshop is an effort to show the tax-paying public just that. For more information, visit the Southwest Water Conservation website at swwcd.org. Jeff Deach has been a television news reporter, a lawyer, an actor, and now a playwright. His first plays Lies, Shame, Self-Medication, A Durango Love Story debuts Memorial Day weekend on the stage at the Henry Strader Theater.
This play is my reflection not only on life in Durango but on American life. And it's actually a collection of 7 one-act plays. They're tied together by a common theme, though they don't have common characters. And the theme for this show is moral ambiguity and how we try to deal with it. I take a shot at just about everything I can.
Mr. Deach incorporates experiences and personalities from the past 3 decades of his life in Durango, along with moments from his childhood in Washington, D.C. He's worked as a broadcast journalist, cocktail pianist, and trial attorney. He undertook sommelier studies at the Culinary Institute of America, where he earned credentials as a certified wine professional. He's the owner of Euro Wine Tours. Tickets are $15 per person. Doors open at the Henry Strader Theater at 7 p.m. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, May 23rd through the 25th. You can buy your tickets online at henrystradertheater.com. If your knees and hips ache, you may have arthritis. Up next, Inside Durango Medicine.
Welcome to the Irish Embassy Pub Durango. We import the majority of our products straight from the Emerald Isle, and let's get it right. You want your Guinness directly imported from Dublin. You want it stored at precisely the right temperature. And you want the pour to be a matter of taste and science. You want a pull with the patience and precision that it deserves. And if that wasn't authentic enough, you want to enjoy it in a pub where the shelves are stocked with 24 different kinds of Irish whiskey. Yes, you want the true Irish experience. Come visit us at the Irish Embassy Pub Durango.
The Sporting News Grill at the new Holiday Inn and Suites of Durango is now open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, featuring a full-service restaurant and bar with 11 HD TVs. It's a great venue for family and sports fanatics alike. The Sporting News Grill. Stop in and let us show you our game face.
You're watching Inside Durango News. I'm Ashley Dixon. If you live the typical Durango lifestyle, you're probably hiking, biking, and skiing. And you're probably starting to feel it in your joints as you age. On our second edition of Inside Durango Medicine, we visit with an orthopedic surgeon about treatments for arthritis. Then stay tuned for a visit with State Representative Michael McLaughlin about the 2014 legislative session.
I'm Brinston Phipps, MD, orthopedic surgeon, affiliated with Animus Orthopedic Associates, and we are operating through Animus Surgical Hospital. Well, there are different types of arthritis. There's the juvenile rheumatoid arthritis that can affect teenagers, and up to the most common, which is osteoarthritis, which is typically age-related, usually affecting people in their 4th decade and beyond. There's about 20 million U.S. Citizens dealing with arthritis year to year. But predominantly arthritis affects an older population. Arthritis can affect any joint. It can be in the hands, it can be elbow, shoulder, knee, wrist, ankle. I personally deal mostly with hip and knee arthritis. pain is the most common feature. It's usually a dull ache associated with the joint in question. There's often stiffness that associates with it. People will wake up and have stiffness that seems to free up after about a half hour. That's commonly reported. And you just get more and more debilitated, that you have more aches that are keeping you from doing what you want to do. Some of the supplements that are available to help delay the progression of arthritis out there include the glucosamine, chondroitin sulfate, MSM, which is basically organic sulfur. Fish oil has been looked at, the omegas. The data on it's just not real compelling. I find that it's not detrimental. One area that patients and physicians alike have grown interest in is called platelet-rich plasma, which is where we receive the blood from the patient, spin it down to the platelets, and try to get the growth factors from those platelets to deliver a healing response to the diseased cartilage. But once the patient does get to the point where these measures have not gotten them back to the quality of life that they desire, then we start talking about surgical endeavors. And the role of arthroscopy, where we put a camera in the hip joint or the knee joint, try to clean up the damage or destructive process, we're moving forward more towards trying to continue mainstay with conservative treatment options, but there are situations where potential benefit can be conferred with something as simple as an arthroscopic surgery. However, more frequently we look at having to replace the damaged joint, which would be either a knee replacement or a hip replacement in my practice. And with respects to knee replacements, there's over 1 million done in this country each year. It's a very common practice. Most patients do fantastic with them. Common statements are, I should have done it sooner. Why did I wait so long? But it is worthwhile to try to put off surgery if you're still functional and have a good quality of life. Being active and fit and healthy going into surgery makes it easier on the patient for sure. We can get people back to active lifestyles. Unfortunately, running is an impact activity that is a little bit more jarring on the implant. We kind of frown against running, although we'll let people golf, hike. I let people play tennis, try to encourage them to consider doubles over singles so there's not as much court coverage. Cycling unlimited, swimming, hiking. So most of the activities that they were able to enjoy. I've seen some patients recover really fast. We're watching a gentleman right now who's after 3 months after his knee replacement says he's skiing better than he's skied in 10 years. And he's an aggressive skier. I've seen him on a mountain, he's skiing better than I am. And so people can get back to real active lifestyles. It's fun to watch. That's the enjoying part of the job.
Thank you, Dr. Phipps. Thank goodness for technology. We can all look forward to becoming bionic men or women in our future. We're especially pleased to welcome Michael McLaughlin, who's wrapping up his first term as our district's Colorado State Representative. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
So I know you're coming off a very busy season for you. What are some big victories that you think you had in this last legislative session?
Well, the number one issue we had to deal with in the legislature was recovering from the fires and the floods, most of which affected the Front Range, and that was what our major emphasis was, the emergency things that we had to do right away. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we had the education, which is a very important thing, and as you know, very important for this area. Yeah. With the higher education.
Yeah, I know there was something particular for Fort Lewis College that you championed.
Yes, that's correct. And I was also able to obtain some funding for Western State Colorado University, which is also in my district. I'm the only state representative with 2 districts, with 2 colleges in their district.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So in addition to that, I know that when you're in legislative session, it is a marathon. You're head down, dealing with as many possible things as you can. In terms of, things that you think most apply to La Plata County residents in terms of what you got done, what do you think those issues would be?
Well, I think the K through 12 funding, which we did through the School Finance Act and the School Success Act, will have a great impact on La Plata County and the Bayfield schools and the Ignacio schools and all the other schools in my district, because I have 5.5 counties in my district.
That's a lot to cover.
Yeah, it is. But I think definitely that will be important. I think the economic things that we did a lot of economic things, and as you know, the Colorado recovery is economy rather is recovering. And as a result of that, we had an extra $1.1 billion for sort of backfill many of the things that we had not dealt with during the recession.
Oh.
So, for example, education, transportation, communications. I think one of the really important bills that we passed this year is the rural broadband bill.
Explain that to me.
Rural broadband is an attempt to reallocate internet services to all the parts of the state.
Okay.
We have pretty good broadband here and internet service in Durango by virtue of the fiber optic network that we have. But for example, San Juan County, my other county, Silverton to the north, has no fiber optic. Ridgeway has very compromised fiber optic. And Gunnison, which is also in my district, has very compromised fiber optic. So we basically are shifting over 10 years about $500 million from the telephone line funding to broadband, to expand broadband in western Colorado.
Wow. So it sounds like you've already got a bunch of real victories under your belt. Now, moving forward into the upcoming campaign season, what are some of the things that you're looking to focus on and get out to the voters?
Well, I think number one, I want to show that I have been able to accomplish a lot by working with both sides of the aisle. I am a Democrat, however, and we are in the majority in the House and the Senate. And we have, of course, Democratic governor in Governor Hickenlooper. But I believe that we got a lot accomplished because we were able to work with the Republicans and both sides of the aisle. So we got a lot done, and I intend to continue that. I think it's a hallmark of what I do is that I work with both sides.
I know that that's something that voters would wish that they were seeing on all different levels of government as well. Well,
one of the reasons that I do work with all sides is because we live in a very divided demographic. In other words, our district is 1/3 Republican, 1/3 Independent, and 1/3 Democrat.
Wow.
And so as a result of that, I got elected by a very narrow margin, and I am by nature have to work with the other side, and that's something that I think the public wants.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the great problems in Congress and in the House of Representatives is that these people come from districts where they get voted in by 80-20 margins. They don't talk to the people, they don't come to the aisle, and they don't work with the other side.
So you're ready to keep that work going?
I'm ready to keep that working, and I know that I got elected because I got a lot of people who were independents and Republicans to vote for me.
So people that are interested in learning more about your campaign and about your background, where can they go to get more information?
Absolutely, thank you. I have a website, it's called McLaughlinforcolorado.com. You can go there and learn more about me, and I've lived in La Plata County since 1974.
So you know a thing or two about the area?
I know a thing about the area, and also people know me, and they know what to expect from me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us and informing us on what you've been up to, and we look forward to the next step for you as well.
Thank you very much.
So we'll be back right next with your weekly updates.
Who knew that I would be helping people into a cycling lifestyle for 34 years? And during that 34 years, things have changed a lot.
Working on toys, basically. Toys for adults, toys for kids, things that make people happy, keep people healthy.
You know, that's a real nice thing about this shop. Developing those relationships with our customers is really a plus here. I've made a lot of real good friends.
You're watching Inside Durango News. I'm Ashley Dixon, and here are your weekly updates. There's lots going on this weekend, from the Taste of Spring in Ignacio to the Taste of Durango on Main Avenue. First, best-selling author and meditation teacher Sharon Salzberg will offer pragmatic tools for becoming more productive and happy at work in a lecture that starts at 5:30 p.m. Friday, May 16th in the Community Concert Hall. Visit durangoconcerts.com for ticket information. Foxfire Farms in Ignacio will host its annual Taste of Spring event from 1 to 6 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday, May 17th and 18th. The family-oriented event features baby farm animals, live music, local artisans, and tours of the one-room schoolhouse. The farm is located at 5513 County Road 321, southwest of Ignacio. You can call 563-4675 for more information. The annual Taste of Durango, featuring fare from Durango's bars and restaurants, will run from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Sunday, May 18th on Main Avenue. Proceeds benefit Manna Soup Kitchen. That's it for this week's Community Updates. The Community Calendar is brought to you by what'shappeningdurango.com. Post your free event today and join the one-stop, easy-to-use events calendar for Durango. I'm Ashley Dixon. Thanks for watching Inside Durango News, and remember, keep watching. You'll like what you see.
Tune in weekly to watch Inside Durango News, your source for information about what's going on in Southwest Colorado. Inside Durango News has been brought to you by Oxford Asset Management, inspiring confidence, growing dreams. Oxford Asset Management.